Wundarr's first appearance is in Adventures into Fear, issue 17, published in 1973. As the story unfolds, notice how much of Wundarr's origin story appears to be a spoof on Superman's origins. Like so many superhero tales, this story once again begins with a father. Astronomer Hectu and his wife Soja live in their observatory home on the planet of Dakum. Hectu has made the grave discovery that the planet's sun is about to go nova. Certain of his civic duty, Hectu brought his concerns before the planetary triumvirate. Yeah, that's a real word. To warn them of the danger. None of his concerns are taken seriously, and Hectu is laughed off. He pleads with them and explains the dangers of inaction. The triumvirate warns him to waste no more time on his fantasies, and that if he starts spreading his lies to the populace, he will be put away for life. Hectu leaves, warning the triumvirate that they have less than a year remaining. Shunned away from the world, Hectu turned inward toward home and family. The next 6 months were spent building a spacecraft to carry his family to safety. As he tells his wife the great news that the ship is finally finished, the internal security police show up to seize the rocket. Hectu is killed. Soja runs towards the rocket but is shot in the back. As she collapses, she places Wundarr within the vessel and manages to launch the ship as she collapses. The ship traveled through space without destination until it got pulled into Earth's gravitational orbit and came down to Earth in July of 1951, landing in a Florida swamp. Wundarr spent the next 2 decades growing up inside of the ship, unaware of anything else and thinking he was the only living thing in the world. One fateful day, the Man-Thing was wandering about the swamps when he ran across a huge glimmering object. Man-Thing knocks it over. He watches it for a while, and as he prepares to leave, it begins to make a sound. He listens to the object, beats the object, and finally throws the object, which explodes on a tree. From the smoking wreckage emerges an unsteady figure of a man with extremely innocent eyes. Wundarr, upon seeing the Man-Thing, thinks it has found his mother. He tries to run forward, but the strength of his legs carries him 3 miles into the air. Upon coming down, he lands on a crane, destroying it. The construction workers go on the attack and try shooting Wundarr, but the bullets just bounce right off him. Wundarr flees on foot at over 100 miles an hour. He returns to the swamp only to find his mother and ends up crying on the water's edge when he cannot find her. Once he gets up, Wundarr sees a potential new friend, but as soon as it tries to take a bite of him, Wundarr kills the creature. He can't understand why everything has to be so mean. Wundarr finds his mother still at the ship. This time, Wundarr's clumsy approach is mistaken for an attack. Wundarr is shocked that his mother would try to hurt him. He hurls the Man-Thing away, but decides to give chase and teach his mother how to be nice. The toss lands the Man-Thing in Citrusville, Florida, over 9 miles away. The Man-Thing lands hard, but not nearly as hard as Wundarr. Wundarr presses his attack, but the Man-Thing ignores him and starts walking back to the swamp. Wundarr is scared to be abandoned, and even though he can't speak, he tries to beg the Man-Thing not to leave, but the emotionless creature walks on. Wundarr tries to take the Man-Thing's arm, but the Man-Thing pulls back and slaps Wundarr, who then realizes that this is not his mother. Wundarr takes to the skies. Wundarr next appears in Marvel 2-in-1, issue 2. Wundarr's bounding away has taken him out over the ocean. He's confused and scared as he's never seen so much water before. He lands near the Atlantean mobile island, the Hydro Base. Namorita witnesses his crash landing and heads out into the ocean to save him. She drags his nearly lifeless body to shore and begins mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. This is followed by a short, "Me Tarzan, you Jane" scenario, as Wundarr speaks his first words. Namor rushes in and scares the childlike Wundarr away. Namorita is brought to tears trying to convince Namor that he's nothing more than a giant child in trouble. Namor relents and the two of them swim after him. Remember Wundarr's father Hectu? Turns out, maybe he was a little crazy, because Dakum's sun never went nova. Tumar and Zeneg are observing Wundarr from space and are amazed at his extraordinary strength and rampant stupidity. The two of them have been sent to Earth to kill Wundarr, thus ensuring that he will never return to avenge his father's death. To help with this task, the Triumvirate has given them a robot assassin called a Mortoid. Benjamin J. Grimm and Johnny Storm are leaving a movie. After the Human Torch flies away, a woman shouts, "Oh no, look! Up in the sky!" Once again, ripping on Superman. And Wundarr comes crashing down once again. Before he can get his bearings, he's hit by a cab, and then he picks up and throws it out of anger. Ben Grimm drops his disguise and rushes in to save the cabbie. Worried that Wundarr might hurt or kill somebody, the Thing goes on the offense while Tumar and Zenag watch on, excitedly hoping that the Thing will finish their mission for them. The Thing can see the innocent stupidity of Wundarr's eyes and starts to fear that he's beating up on a slow learner, but decides it's better to put Wundarr down for the count due to the number of lives he's put at risk. As Ben closes in to knock Wundarr out, Namor arrives, tackling Ben from behind and claiming that Wundarr is under his protection. As Namor and the Thing battle it out, Namorita attempts to flee with Wundarr. Up in space, Tumar and Zenag are perturbed by Namor's attack and decide that they will have to intervene to ensure the safety of T'Kam. Tumar, Zenag, and Mortoid descend into the fray. One shot from the Dacamians puts Wundarr on the ground. Namor and the Thing decide to team up against the Dacamians, destroying their weapons and Mortoid with laughable ease. The Dacanians try to take Wundarr with them during their escape, but give up once they realize they've been overpowered. Namor then goes back on his word about the kid being under his protection and flies off to his kingdom, leaving Wundarr with a disgruntled Benjamin Grimm. The story continues in Marvel 2-in-1, issue number 3. Benjamin has taken Wundarr to the Baxter Building, where Reed Richards is running tests on Wundarr. Every test Reed runs comes up normal, and he hypothesizes that Wundarr received his superpowers from being exposed to cosmic rays, just like the Fantastic Four. As Wundarr overpowers some of the machinery, Reed discovers that Wundarr is absorbing the background radiation of everything around him. This is the source of his super strength, but there is a limit to how much he can store. Reed gives Wundarr a suit, which keeps the explosive power circulating through him. It also has a button on the belt buckle, which will allow Wundarr to expend excess energy. Things pick back up more in the next issue, Marvel 2-in-1, issue 4. Wundarr and Ben have taken a trip to Central Park Zoo. Wundarr is taken to calling the Thing Uncle Benji and wants some cotton candy. Ben turns his back for half a minute to get the cotton candy, and Wundarr lets all the caged animals loose. The people run and scream. Uncle Benji gets attacked by a lion, and then a gorilla, and a confused Wundarr begins to cry. Namorita and her college roommate Annie Christopher are walking in the park when they run across Wundarr. Ben runs back over, and Namorita chastises him for yelling at Wundarr. Ben then calls Namorita out for leaving Wundarr behind in Marvel 2-in-1, issue 2. She claims that she had an obligation to Namor at the time, but offers to take Wundarr in and tutor him. Namor offers to let Ben drop in for a visit anytime he likes. The two roommates leave a befuddled Ben Grimm, promising Wundarr is in good hands. Wundarr's next appearance is a single panel check-in in Marvel 2-in-1, issue 8, where we see the Fantastic Four gathered with family and friends in the Baxter Building to celebrate Christmas. In Marvel 2-in-1, issue 9, the Thing and Christopher, Namorita, and Wundarr have all gone out to see a puppet show. The Thing thinks the guy putting it on is the Puppet Master, but dismisses the idea because he saw the Puppet Master dead and buried in Marvel Team-Up issue 6. Ben's suspicion ends up being correct. The Puppet Master is teamed up with Radion, a being made entirely of radioactive matter. Somehow, Radion's power is increasing the Puppet Master's power. The plan is cut short when Radion runs across Wundarr, who begins to absorb Radion's power. Radion flees, and the Puppet Master is left stuck between a very angry Thing and Thor. Before either of them can make a move, Wundarr jumps in and lays the Puppet Master out with a single punch. Wundarr's final appearance before moving on to Project Pegasus is in Miss Marvel Volume 1, issue number 15. While Wundarr is staying with Namorita and Annie, Tiger Shark breaks into their apartment and kidnaps Namorita. Wundarr attempts to save her, but is thrown through a wall and out of the apartment. Carol Danvers, a.k.a. Miss Marvel, witnesses Wundarr flying out of the building and investigates. Wundarr takes a sucker punch at Miss Marvel, but she comes right back at him with a perfectly placed punch. Miss Marvel hits Wundarr right back into the apartment he came flying out of. Miss Marvel flies up to investigate, where she finds a destroyed apartment and a scared Wundarr. Annie lets her know what's going on, and Miss Marvel takes off in pursuit of Tiger Shark in an attempt to save Namorita. This concludes Wundarr's origin story up to Project Pegasus, where we'll witness the metamorphosis which turns Wundarr into the Aquarian. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to push any of the buttons below. I'm out.